Right now, it's time to spotlight Team USA's Alex Cavallini, formerly known as Alex Rigsby, if you're just joining us. And we're welcoming in our very own Lauren Gardner as well. The social media mix in
Yes, that's exactly what I'm here to do. I'm just pumped to be part of this show. I was here as a correspondent the last 2 seasons with the Avs, and I just feel honored to be a part of this. You guys are so incredibly talented, and you are representing all of the amazing women across the NHL here today.
As you do each and every day when you host On the Fly and do a lot of different things for us here at the NHL Network. So honored to have you. We couldn't do it without having LG Red at the house. All right, to Alex. I always ask goaltenders this question because I'm fascinated by the position because, you know, you go to youth hockey or practices and you get into the sport. You know, I grew up playing hockey. And everyone wants to score goals. All the kids just want to score goals. But then there's kids that want to be goalies. How did you come to the decision to play goal? Where did it start for you, and what was your moment of, yep, full-time goalie?
It started when I was 6, and at that time everyone got a week with the goalie equipment.
You like rotated.
Yeah, you rotated through the goalie gear, and I had mine for the week, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I loved the pads. I loved stopping the boys because I was playing boys hockey. And from that point forward, I was constantly begging my parents and coaches to let me play.
You have a great story about the moment where it really switched for you, and it was an interaction that you had with your coach. Tell us that story.
Yeah, so I went from playing youth hockey to then playing AAA boys hockey, and I was in 5th grade, and up until that point, I'd always, played a week of goalie, played a week of forward, and then that's just how it was, and I showed up to the rink when I was playing AAA boys hockey, and it was a skills day, so I thought I would show up in my player gear, and my coach looked at me, and he was like, "Are you on this team to play goalie or forward?" And I was like, "Goalie." He's like, "I never want to see your player gear at the rink again." I was like, "All right, so I'm officially a goalie now."
The decision was made, and you shared with us earlier that coach is actually now your father-in-law.
Yes,
how did you and your husband meet again?
Through Gino Cavallini. He was my coach, and so my husband, Aiden, we were teammates. And so we were teammates for 3 years, and Gino was my coach and continues to be my mentor. So it was pretty cool.
So real quick follow-up, though. You started as teammates. You're young kids. You grow up. I mean, now, what role does hockey play in your marriage? Is your husband kind of does he critique you at all after games? Is he only a supporter? Is he still kind of that former teammate? How is that?
Kind of both. I mean, he is hands down my biggest supporter. I'm so lucky to have him and, be able to talk through hockey. And there's been so many highs and lows through my career. And he's been with me through, my huge moments and huge lows with, especially USA Hockey once we started dating. And, we grew up being like brother, sister. We'd fight like it. And then when we reconnected, it was just so easy. And he's just a huge supporter of mine. And I'm very lucky. And I still make him come on and shoot on me for goalie lessons. So on the weekends, I make him wake up early at 7 a.m. We skate at 7 a.m. and he comes out and shoot on me.
Oh, that's really cool. Then you can't let him score. Never.
No, of course not. I win every game.
Not in those shoes.
Hey, all right.
Lauren, take it away.
So they say that some of the best relationships actually stem from friendships. So this obviously started off really well. But you mentioned playing with the boys growing up because it really wasn't an option for young girls. But now you kind of paved the way. Like I was just talking with Jamie about this. I covered the Minnesota Girls State High School Championships, and it was so eye-opening for me just to see the opportunities. But what is it like for you to know that you were able to help create these for some of these young women?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the opportunities. I mean, the opportunities weren't there growing up to play girls hockey. I mean, it wasn't a thing. You went to the rink, you played hockey, you played with the boys. People didn't understand it, and you hear all those stories of, people being like, you don't belong here and whatnot, and that was exactly it. And, so for us to be able to now look back and, see what we went through and now seeing the opportunities and how much women's hockey and how many girls are enrolled in hockey these days, it's really incredible to see.
I think it's important, too, to point that out, Lauren, because people hear those stories about girls playing boys hockey and having their own changing room. My sister did it. But they think it's old school. Like, oh, no, that was like 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But that's not that long ago that young girls are having to change in the referee room to get ready for a game. So I think it's important for people to know that it wasn't that long ago that that was actually the case. But girls hockey is growing because of the success of Team USA on the international stage. Unfortunately, the World Championships in Halifax just got canceled because of the coronavirus scare. And obviously, you know, health and safety is first and foremost, and that's the reason for the decision. But for you, how devastating is that blow to women's hockey right now? It's such a big event for you guys.
It's absolutely heartbreaking to us. I mean, this is what we train for. You know, we train for the World Championships, and then on the odd year, it's the Olympics. And, you know, this has been a really hard season for women's hockey. I mean, we formed the PWHPA and have had a Dream Gap tour, and it started off with the national level. Our Four Nations was canceled due to issues with Team Sweden, and so we didn't have that. And then, you know, we had a rivalry series against Canada, and that was great. And, you know, we gained a lot of momentum at the All-Star weekend, and then all of a sudden World Championships is canceled, and, you know, we found out the news on Saturday, and just like that, our season's over. You know, this is what we've been training for, and it's really heartbreaking. You know, we were so excited to go to Halifax, and we had a great team. There was, you know, some newcomers on the team that I was really excited to, you know, have play for the first time and represent our country, and it's just, you know, it's a heartbreaking thing.
Yeah, we're going to bring in fan tweets here just in a second, but I do want to get to a positive of the past year that you mentioned, the All-Star weekend in St. Louis. It was a treat for us to see firsthand the women be so fully involved during that skills competition with a 3-on-3. What was it like for you to be involved and to also get to know some of the biggest names on the male side of the game?
It was so fun. I mean, it was incredible, you know, to come out and, you know, be in front of that crowd. The crowd was on their feet by the end of the game, and just to be able to come out and showcase, especially like what we were saying, it's just been a hard year for women's hockey where, you know, we haven't been playing in a league, and, you know, for the best players to be able to come out and showcase what we can do, it was incredible to see. And just to have the NHL support, I mean, that's the biggest thing is having the NHL support, having the players support us the way they do. And, you know, I think what's so big, too, is that these players are starting to see, be like, yeah, my daughter's young. She wants to play hockey someday. Like, you guys are our role models.
That's so cool. LG, what do you got for us?
Okay, I love that. And I love that you guys set the attendance record for women's hockey at the Honda Center.
Yeah.
In that last game of the USA-Canada rivalry.
That was amazing. I mean,
So cool.
Kudos to Anaheim for, you know, setting up an amazing event, and they worked so hard there, and it was a huge reward for us to be able to go in and play in that game, and then, you know, for us to pull out a win in overtime was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it could not have been a more exciting finish, but yeah, kudos to you guys for putting women's hockey on the map. So we have some social media questions here.
Okay.
The first one, you may recognize this handle from Instagram. This is from TP Ringsby. This is all behind us right here. So who is your favorite Ringsby cousin in Phoenix, Arizona? Maybe a trick question.
Well, so we're getting the Rigsby name in here. Trevor, if you're watching, then you are. So thank you for watching if you are.
I love that one. Okay, so our next question comes from hockey.angel16. How do you mentally prepare for a game? I think this is especially important for a goaltender.
Yeah, it's just about having that balance. I mean, you're not getting, for me in particular, it's not having, you know, being too relaxed, but it's not being too wound up, and it's just having that confidence. And a lot of the confidence comes from, you know, your preparation and having that practice and, you know, playing in games, which we necessarily didn't do as many this year, but, you know, having that confidence is really important to just get your mentality right. And, you know, we had some fun games against Canada this year, and so those are pretty easy to get hyped up against.
Exactly.
Fun for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Known Canadian.
You know what? You know what's so funny is, like, Alex and I did an interview last week to promote this show, and I was telling her, I was like, I find it difficult, like, living in the U.S. now, working with some of the members of Team USA. Now I watch the games, I'm like slightly torn. I'm like, obviously I'm Canadian, so I know these girls, and they're so kind to me and nice to me when I interview them. I was like, it's very difficult. It's hard. I got to get my dual citizenship.
You are repping Canada, though, and they're all red.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tried for red, white, and blue.
You got it right here. I love it. So our next question is a great follow-up here. This is from Daphne, the goalie. How do you shake off getting scored on? Because you talked about being mentally prepared and having that instant amnesia. It can't be easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a huge thing as a goaltender, is just be able to shake that goal off. I mean, you can't expect to have a shutout every single game, as many of us would love to have
that's the
that.
goal, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the goal. And, you know, for me personally, I let in a goal. quickly review what it is that, you know, I could have done to help prevent that goal and move on from there and try and fix that mistake, move on, focus on the next shot.
Well, this has been really fun. Thanks to all the fans out there for sending in their tweets, and thank you for letting us put you on the spot here.
No, you were great. I mean, some of that is very tough to answer. First one was the softball we started.
Yeah.
Really quickly before we go, because I know we have to get to break, I know you had a very close relationship with your grandfathers. If they saw you doing an all-female edition of a hockey show right now, what would they think?
Oh my gosh, he would be beside himself. He'd be emailing all his friends. And,
With pride.
you know, with so much pride. That's the thing. My grandpa, he had so much pride for, you know, not only me, but my teammates, and, you know, proud of women's hockey and women in general, just, you know, getting out there and, you know, breaking down barriers. And so he was a huge supporter of us. And, you know, my grandmas, I know they're watching right now, and they're super proud too. And, you know, it's just a great role model to have.
Yeah, you don't get to where you are without a great support system, so I wanted to make sure I got your family in there because I know how important they are to you.